She faced a dilemma between two men who loved her deeply, a rich, handsome guy and a humble mechanic. When life tested their love, only one proved to be truly worthy. Watch until the end to find out who truly deserves her heart. Hey everyone, welcome to my amazing channel. Today, we'll dive into another fascinating and popular Nigerian movie by UCHE TV, featuring our celebrated star, Clinton Joshua. Stay tuned for all the fun, twists, and turns. At a busy mechanic workshop, a skilled young mechanic named Isaiah ignored his colleagues, including one who needed his help fixing a car's brake, a task even major car companies struggled with. Isaiah rushed off, leaving his work behind, as he had something extremely important to attend to. Meanwhile, Laura, a POS operator, was busy at her shop when her friend Anita stopped by for a chat. They were enjoying their conversation when Isaiah arrived with a package containing cake and ice cream for Laura. She gratefully accepted it and asked if there was any update on a car's owner. Isaiah assured her not to worry. Anita teased him as he left. That same morning, Collins, a young man relaxing at home, received news from his sister about their mother sending him Cesium 500,000. Despite the good news, Collins seemed indifferent. His sister urged him to call their mom, and he promised to do so before leaving to withdraw money from Laura. At her shop, Laura joked with him, saying she didn't have the full 200,000 he wanted to withdraw and asked him to return later for the rest. That night, as Collins brooded in his room, his sister reminded him to call their mom. He hesitated, struggling with the fact that their parents were still estranged. His sister encouraged him to hold both parents accountable and not solely blame their mother. Collins remained silent as she left for her room. The next day at the workshop, Isaiah received a call from his boss through a colleague, Peace. The boss demanded payment for a car Isaiah had crashed. Isaiah promised to settle the issue the next morning. After the call, Peace, puzzled about how such an experienced mechanic could crash a car, expressed his sympathy before leaving. Later, at Laura's shop, Collins called to check if she was at work. He later visited her, and they had a great time discussing school, job opportunities, and the country. Laura playfully teased him to show her some love. Collins returned shortly after with treats, surprising her. Her friend Anita teased her again once he left. At the workshop, Isaiah offered to help Peace with work because he desperately needed money to pay Mr. Emma, who was pressuring him. However, Peace refused, citing his own financial struggles, and dismissed Isaiah rudely. At closing time, Peace taunted Isaiah, who tried to stay behind to work, but left after Peace threatened to report him to the boss. On their way home, Peace mocked Isaiah about his frequent visits to Laura. That evening, Isaiah visited Laura's shop and was shocked to find her laughing and enjoying herself with Anita. Laura told Isaiah to stop bringing her gifts, but he handed her a small package before leaving. Anita couldn't stop laughing, prompting Laura to scold her for being rude. That night, Laura called Collins to thank him for his thoughtful gestures. Collins promised to visit her the next day, and they ended the call on a cheerful note. The next morning, Collins arrived early at Laura's shop, eager to spend time with her. As she showed him her work, Isaiah appeared with another gift. Mistaking Collins for a customer, Isaiah was disheartened when he saw how close Collins and Laura were. He quietly left, visibly upset, but without causing a scene. Back at the workshop, Isaiah looked drained and dejected, as if he had lost all hope. Peace noticed and pressed him about his mood, but Isaiah brushed it off. Peace then informed him that he had been promoted to supervisor, but Isaiah seemed indifferent, still consumed by his thoughts. Meanwhile, Collins and Laura enjoyed their time together, growing closer. Isaiah, unable to resist, returned to Laura's shop later that day, but found it empty, which hurt him even more. He realized that Laura, the woman he loved so deeply, was slipping away from him. Later that evening, Laura decided to go home, despite Collins urging her to stay. Respecting her decision, he took her home, ending the night with a warm hug. Laura called Collins later to check on him, allowing him to visit anytime. She playfully teased him about charging for the time he spent with her. And they ended the night in good spirits. The next day, Isaiah woke up early and went straight to see Laura. He expressed his concern about her sudden departure the day before and apologized for not bringing her anything, promising to get her something special. Though Laura disapproved, she reluctantly agreed. Afterward, Isaiah went to work, where Peace informed him to check their boss's car at his house and advised him to stay focused, as he seemed distracted. Isaiah quickly left to complete the task. Meanwhile, Collins withdrew all the cash Laura had at her shop so they could go spend time together at his place. She agreed, unaware that Isaiah was watching them from the background. At Collins's house, while he went to the kitchen to fetch orange juice, he ran into his sister, who finally convinced him to promise to speak with their mother. Returning with pizza and juice, Collins shared how happy Laura made him and asked her to be his girlfriend. Laura was surprised and asked for more time, clarifying that she wasn't in a relationship. They continued to enjoy their time together. Back at the workshop, Isaiah returned looking dejected. Peace, sensing something was wrong, asked him what was going on. Isaiah admitted it was about Laura, the POS operator he liked. Peace advised him to muster the courage to express his feelings to her, as it was long overdue. Though Isaiah felt nervous, Peace's words stayed with him, sparking a desire to finally confess. The following day, Anita was upset with Laura for not giving Collins a clear yes when he asked her out. As they discussed it, Isaiah arrived, asking to speak privately with Laura. Anita stepped aside at Laura's request. Nervously, Isaiah confessed his feelings for Laura, stammering and stumbling over his words like a shy child. Laura, confused, accepted the flowers he brought and promised to get back to him. Isaiah later shared her response with Peace, who became frustrated, accusing Isaiah of spending too much on someone who hadn't reciprocated his feelings. However, Isaiah insisted he wanted her to love him genuinely. That same day, Collins visited Laura and asked if she was seeing someone else, as she was taking so long to respond to his proposal. Laura denied it and jokingly diffused the tension. Shortly after, Isaiah arrived and asked to speak with Collins privately. He introduced himself and politely told Collins to stay away from Laura, claiming she was his. Collins, amused, dismissed Isaiah's claims, pointing out that Laura wasn't even aware of Isaiah's feelings. He warned Isaiah not to bring up such matters again before returning to his seat, laughing off the interaction. The next morning, Isaiah ran after Laura on her way to work, desperate for an answer about whether she would be his girlfriend. He admitted he couldn't sleep and couldn't wait for the day to break. Laura, however, asked for more time and brought up his conversation with Collins, which Isaiah brushed off before assisting her with her tasks. Later, Isaiah lied to his boss over the phone about why he was late, prompting a serious warning. His boss then sent him on an errand. Days later, Laura confided in Anita that she couldn't say yes to Collins yet because she wanted to get to know him better. When Anita dismissed Isaiah as an option, Laura defended him, saying it would be wrong to lose their friendship. Later, Isaiah refused to help Peace with a car repair that was taking longer than expected, citing an important place he needed to be. Meanwhile, Laura and Collins went out together, leaving Anita at the shop. Unbeknownst to them, Isaiah followed and saw Laura enter Collins' house, but didn't intervene. He returned to Laura's shop and reflected on the situation. At Collins' house, he shared the story of his parents' separation, explaining how his father's workaholic nature drove his mother away, even after he tried to make amends. Laura felt sorry for him and appreciated his vulnerability. Collins expressed his gratitude for how much she brightened his life and asked again for an answer to his proposal. This time, Laura said yes, leaving him overjoyed as they celebrated their new relationship. Later, Collins told his sister about Laura, and she was thrilled for him. That same day, Isaiah visited Collins to warn him to stay away from Laura. Collins revealed that Laura had already agreed to be his girlfriend, leaving Isaiah feeling defeated. At work, Isaiah was lost in thought, prompting Peace to snap him out of it. Peace could easily guess the reason for his distraction, but let him work through it on his own. Later, while Collins was with Laura at her shop, Isaiah arrived and, in a fit of jealousy, picked a fight with Collins. Laura and Anita struggled to separate them. That evening, Collins returned home with visible scars, alarming his sister. He downplayed the situation and went to his room. Meanwhile, Laura told Anita about chest pain she had been feeling. Anita warned her to be cautious of heart issues and advised her to focus on Collins and let Isaiah go. However, Laura defended Isaiah, saying she valued their friendship too much to lose him. At the workshop, Peace noticed Isaiah's bruises from the fight and and tried to support him. Later that night, Collins and Laura had a heartfelt conversation. She apologized for the fight, and Collins promised to see her the next day. The following morning, despite his sister's advice to rest and heal, Collins insisted on seeing Laura. At the same time, Isaiah left work early, asking Peace to cover for him. When he arrived at Laura's shop, he saw her gently touching Collins's face. Overcome with jealousy, he disrupted the moment, leading to more tension. Laura called Anita to share what had happened. Despite her pain, she promised to talk to Isaiah and ask him to let go of his feelings for her. Later, at the workshop, Peace had to send Isaiah away due to mistakes he was making that could cost the business. Collins, frustrated and skipping meals, confided in his sister about the fight and its cause. A few days later, Anita urged Laura to rest because of her condition, but Laura fainted before she could leave. Anita called for help, worried about her friend. Meanwhile, Collins encountered Isaiah while visiting a friend. The two exchanged heated words before going their separate ways. Collins later called Laura repeatedly, but she didn't answer. Isaiah also went to her shop, but found it closed, leaving him to wonder why she hadn't opened for the day. The next day, Collins received a call from Anita about Laura's condition. He immediately dropped his coffee and rushed to the hospital. When Collins arrived, Anita explained how they could have prevented the situation if she had taken Laura's complaints about her chest and abdominal pain more seriously. The doctor confirmed that Laura was suffering from acute kidney injury, which had led to a buildup of blood in her lungs. Collins was shocked and anxiously waited for Laura to wake up so he could speak with her. Later, as Anita was leaving, she encountered Isaiah and refused to let him enter. She informed him about Laura's illness. Deeply concerned, Isaiah rushed to see Laura. Collins, already inside, was upset when Isaiah held Laura's hand and disregarded him, raising his voice in frustration. Feeling ignored, Collins left the hospital, visibly angry. Back home, Collins confided in his sister about his struggles with Laura and Isaiah. His sister was surprised to hear about Laura's condition, but remained skeptical about the entire situation. She believed that if Laura truly didn't love Isaiah, she would have set boundaries. She advised Collins to carefully consider whether his interest in Laura was worth the emotional toll. Meanwhile, Isaiah shared Laura's health condition with Peace, breaking down in tears as he admitted his inability to financially support her. Peace comforted him. The next day, Collins visited Laura along with Peace. Laura assured them that the medications were working and informed Collins about the need for a kidney transplant. Collins felt heartbroken and held her close. At the same time, Isaiah made numerous phone calls, desperately trying to borrow money to help Laura, but no one came through. Peace, on the other hand, nonchalantly enjoyed his Fanta and bread. Later, Isaiah visited Laura, consoling her and handing her $25,000 to support her treatment. Although Laura insisted he didn't have to, Isaiah insisted, and she gratefully accepted. At home, Collins' sister cautioned him about the financial and emotional implications of taking responsibility for someone with kidney complications. While Collins expressed his willingness to donate a kidney to Laura, his sister sternly rebuked the idea, advising him instead to give her money for her medication and step back. At the mechanic workshop, Peace encouraged Isaiah to focus on rebuilding his life, pointing out that he had already done more than enough for Laura. Peace revealed that the car Isaiah was still paying for was the one Laura had crashed, urging Isaiah to prioritize his own well-being, as he was both financially broke and emotionally unstable. Isaiah briefly reflected on how the car accident had happened. That same day, Collins visited Laura and gave her $200,000 for her treatment, explaining that his mother wanted him to travel to the UK. While he wanted to stay, he promised to call her with his final decision. Laura was surprised by his generosity and expressed her gratitude. Later, Collins lied to his sister, telling her he had used the opportunity to distance himself from Laura. She encouraged him to continue focusing on himself and allow Laura's family to take responsibility for her health. That night, Collins and Laura spoke on the phone. He informed her that he would have to leave but promised to call her every day. Though sad, Laura hoped he would return soon. The next morning, Isaiah passed by Laura's workplace and noticed she wasn't there. Instead, he saw Anita cheerfully attending to a customer. Some days later, Laura confided in Anita about how Collins had not called or replied to her messages since traveling. Isaiah, too, had not visited for a while. Anita dismissed Isaiah, encouraging Laura to get back to work. However, Isaiah showed up at Laura's home and explained to her how complicated things were for him. He revealed that, despite his struggles, he wanted to see her happy. Since he couldn't financially help her, he had decided to donate one of his kidneys to her, his only meaningful gift. Laura was deeply moved by his words and appreciated his willingness to make such a sacrifice. The next day, Isaiah brought numerous gifts for Laura, leaving Anita amazed. Not long after, Collins returned from his trip and pleaded with Laura to forgive him, claiming his phone and other belongings were stolen at the airport, which prevented him from contacting her. However, Laura confronted him, revealing she had visited his home and seen him there, proving he had lied. She declared this a clear sign that he wasn't willing to stand by her during difficult times. Laura then explained that nothing was wrong with her health. It had all been a setup to determine who truly loved her. This was Anita's idea, and now Laura had clarity. Collins tried to defend himself, but Laura was unapologetic, stating that his actions showed he was not the type of man who could support his partner in her lowest moments. She ended their relationship on the spot. As Collins tried to express his limitations, Isaiah arrived and was surprised to see Laura standing. Anita explained the entire test they had orchestrated and declared Isaiah the one who genuinely loved Laura. Apologizing to Isaiah, Laura finally agreed to date him, recognizing his unwavering love. They hugged as Collins walked away, devastated. This story serves as a powerful lesson. Be mindful of who you share your personal and sensitive matters with. Good advice is not always the right advice. True love requires sacrifices and responsibility. Lastly, as children, we must separate ourselves from our parents' conflicts. They are theirs to resolve, not ours. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this amazing channel for more captivating, educational, and entertaining Nigerian movies. See you next time.